next we're going to take a look at some examples of conflict. Just a little bit about the conflict procedure overall. First thing will be initiating attack. Then both the attacker and defender will determine their initial strength in the combat. If any of the players are using political power, they'll determine their political support and drawing strength from support from other players. Each player will play a tech card to improve their strength in combat, and then resolution and cleanup. Let's look at an example conflict against the yellow player using their industrial complexes to attack the red player's outpost. So they've played the assault action, which is a destroy action, and specifically they'll choose the liquidate sub-action to use their complexes to attack someone's outpost. So those are the complexes, and they'll be attacking the outposts that are within range there. When you initiate an attack like this, for destroy actions, you have to spend 1 cap for each point of power that your target has. And so in this case, the targeted outpost is a 3 stack and has 3 power, so they have to spend 3 caps to attack it. They'll spend those. You can see the cost icons indicated there. Now we want to look at how these different complexes will pool together and aggregate their strength in order to attack these outposts. So first of all, the 3 outposts in that group that are attacking combine their strength and attack as one single entity. So that's 3 strength, and then they get to draw on the strength of each of their adjacent outposts that are within range. So they get to draw on that outpost, that's +1 strength, +2 for those that are in range, +1 that's in range over there, and that final complex is within range because of the gate that exists linking those 2 sectors together, so that's 1 more strength. Add all that up, and the total attacking strength of yellow's complexes is 8. Now let's switch over and look at the outposts. The defending outposts have 3 strength because there's 3 of them stacked up. The fleet that's in the sector gets to help protect and defend those outposts, and in this case the red player is in tier 2 of their martial development, so the fleet strength is 2, so the fleet adds 2 to the strength. And similar to complexes, the strength of the outpost, they get to draw strength from all of the other outposts that are within range of the one being defending in this case. So they get to draw the 1 power from that outpost. And then because it's a 3 stack, it has 2 range, and they can even draw 1 power from the outpost way over there. They don't get to draw the power from the other fleet because you only get to use the power of a defending fleet that's in the same sector as where the outposts are defending. So in total, red has 7 power. Neither player is using political support, so we skip that part of it. And then so lastly, the players will play a technology card. And so each player will select a technology card from their hand, and then they will simultaneously reveal those cards. And then they will add in the power that's relevant for whatever it is that they're using. So yellow is attacking with industrial, so they take the industrial power and add it in from their card that they played and add it to their 8. So in this case it's 7, and their total strength in combat is 15. Red takes the power that they had in the conflict, which was 7, and add the 6 on their card to it, and their total strength is 13. So yellow wins the fight, red loses. So with red losing, all of their complexes are destroyed because this was a destroy action, and their defending fleet that participated in the attack, or in the defense, is also destroyed and removed from the board. So that was one conflict example. Let's take a look at one more example using political power. Okay, in this next example, the red player has played the subvert card, which will allow them to take over an opposing player's base. And in this case, they're going to use their military power to take over blue's embassies. And so they're going to use the invade action here. And firstly, what they'll do is they'll use the action to move their fleet 2 sectors in to attack the highlighted outpost there. And so they have to pay the 1 cap per sector that the fleet moved, and in addition they have to pay 2 caps for each point of power that their target has, which in this case is 3 power for the level 3 embassy that's there, so they'll have to spend an additional 6 caps. Now, in order to determine strength for military, what ends up happening is that the fleet that's attacking can draw power from one outpost that's within range of the fleet or has range extending over to the fleet. So in this case, they're going to draw power from the level 3 outpost that has range reaching them. The fleet that's attacking itself has 2 power. They get to draw the 3 range from the outpost that is going to support them in the attack. And then the strength of this outpost is also supported by all of the other outposts that are in range and the fleets that are in its location. So they also get to add +2 power for the fleet that's there, +1 power, 1 power, and 1 power for the other outposts that are in range. So in total, red has 10 points of power that they can apply in their attack. Now let's take a look at blue and how political embassies work, because they're a little bit different. Political embassies, instead of drawing power based on adjacency, they draw power based on all of the other factions that are in the same political faction, all the other embassies that are in the same color tile, essentially. So their defending embassy has 3 power. Their fleet their agent that's in that sector has 1 power. And then the strength of all the other purple embassies that they have is also added into their defensive strength. So they also have +2 for that embassy. And then the embassy way down there also provides its 1 power in defense. In total, blue has 7 strength in the conflict. So there aren't any other players involved in this conflict, so we'll skip the political support step. So we go on to playing technology cards. Each player selects a card, they flip them over, and then add the power. So red has 10 power, plus they add 6 because they're using martial power, and they have 16 strength. Blue has 7 power, plus 8 for the political power listed on that card, for a total strength of 15. So in this case, red wins the conflict. It's a very close conflict, 16 versus 5, but red manages to win. So now what happens in this case, the defending agent is destroyed, and now because this was a takeover action, blue's embassy is removed and red gets to place one of their embassies free of cost into that location. So the attack can be expensive, but if it succeeds, you get essentially a free build out of it and an opportunity to take over that location. Last, we'll take a look at an example of how a round or a game turn would be scored in Hegemonic, to give you a sense of the kinds of things that you want to be looking for as you build and plan out your attacks and try and figure out how you can get the most points each turn. This is going back to our 4-player example a few turns later. This is what the board might look like. Scoring in Hegemonic is based on base power, and players will compare the amount of power they have in bases in each of the different regions and score 6, 3, or 1 points for first place, second place, or having other presence on the board. Exclusive power is 2 extra points, and you get an extra point if you have power on the core board. On this board, blue has exclusive control. Green is in first, purple second, and blue has 1 point for presence there. Green has 6, purple has 3 points for second place. Purple is in first, then green and orange. Orange is in first with just 2 base power, and purple has just 1 power, and they're in second. You can see the power there for orange in first, blue in second, and green has presence. And then lastly, the core board with the extra +1 points for people that score in that board. And then there are the totals. So blue has 19, green has 18, purple has 16, and orange has 14. Great, thank you for watching the video. Hopefully this gave you a good overview of the game's gameplay and how all the different mechanics fit and work together. We would love to have your support for this Kickstarter campaign, so please consider pledging some money to help support getting Hegemonic published. Thank you again for your time, and take care.